Hello, welcome to Two Floaties, One Wobbler. This is a podcast mostly about local NC results by NC players for NC players. But when it's appropriate, we'll talk about whatever topics interest us, the national scene, or, they're just kind of goofy and fun. I'm Arun, aka Zent, and I am currently running Team Waifu in Octopath Traveler.
Oh, nice. My tag is Sharks, aka Tyler Bass. I may or may not be watching Runback 2018 the entirety of this podcast.
And I'm Graham, aka Hi-Fi, and I spent 6 hours straight yesterday commentating a tournament.
Did you have fun? I don't know. The one time I did that where I just didn't enter singles and just commentated the entire time, it was a blast.
You don't give people ideas.
I wouldn't say it was a blast, but I did have fun. It was like angry fun though, where I was just like mad the whole time.
Were you? You seem fine.
I feel like that's very. I feel like that's Graham's just eternal state of being. Like, I'm enjoying this, but I'm so angry at everyone right now. I'm not like advocating doing this over entering singles, but if you're just like not feeling like entering singles, it's a great backup.
But if this becomes a thing, you're not allowed on my commentary anymore. If you drop out for singles for commentary, you're not allowed. Just gonna go ahead and put that right now.
So is Graham already like kicked out?
Nah, Graham's fine. He didn't come in with a purpose to just commentate so he could get out of singles. That's not really true, by the way. But but please just don't make it a habit to skip out singles to people.
Because Tyler needs to start saying no to certain people on his commentary setup. He did it yesterday, and I was very proud of him. In fact, he had to sort of fudge the truth to do it, but even still...
I don't think that's true. I did not fudge the truth. You see, so my strat recently has become, don't fudge the truth, just find what you can use. Like, so we talked about on the way to Daytona to CEO, I talked with Colin, and Colin says if anyone ever dares pause against you and quits the game, you have to promise me that you will take the win, like unlike what happened with Flamin' Roy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take that because if that happens, I'll tell the person, sorry, I have no choice. I promised this person that I had to take the win. I have to take it now. So I'm just going to find like the little loopholes like that and just use them from now on so I don't have to feel guilty anymore. It's a good strat.
Whatever you have to do is
just
learn to say no to people.
Exactly.
I guess I can respect that, and I'm curious to see what loopholes you come up with
to
keep your commentary setup pure. But that was my fourth tournament in 6 days, and I just kind of realized after doubles that I didn't really want to play.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I mean, you into so much stuff, like we'll probably see in the local segment.
Absolutely.
So yeah, speaking of which, we've not been here for a month because CEO was when we were supposed to have our last episode, so we have a lot of local results to discuss this episode. As always, lots of interesting developments in the mid-level, but when isn't that true? And speaking of CEO, we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about there, including maybe some stuff about the fighting game scene in general, and also Smush.
More Smush.
Oh right, sorry, I shouldn't have used that word.
No, I kind of have grown towards Smush now. I think it's pretty funny.
I think it's great.
But yeah, stay tuned. We have a pretty great episode coming up.
All right, welcome to the local results segment. We have a month's worth of stuff to talk about, so we're going to try to kind of condense it. Can't go over every single small upset that happened, unfortunately, but if I don't mention you, just think that it's because I didn't think it was an upset. So, to start off, the second ECG tournament, or I guess the third, the naming scheme is a bit confusing, but Revival of Melee 2. We had Veli beating Sprankles in winners round 1. I believe it was Sprankles Yoshi, but still, that's pretty amazing. Bad Wolf over Sprankles in losers round 1, also pretty amazing. I think he went Puff for that set.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, or at least for like game 2 or something. I know it was not all Yoshi.
So he went 0-2 that tournament.
Yes,
I remember.
1 and 2, but
it was 0-2. I'm looking at it here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess he's got to keep working on the Yoshi or play more Puff or something because that's pretty rough. And then David over Sharks in winners finals.
Dominantly.
Solid 3-0. Yeah, and then Sharks had to bring it back in grands to ultimately win the tournament. But how did you feel about his play in that set, if you can remember it.
Yeah, I remember it pretty well. Because I had just got off from playing Tylenol. Tylenol has I kind of talk about all the time about how the Foxes in the region have a distinct style. Tylenol and David play very different. So after I got done with Tylenol, it was a very tough switch, something I was not expecting. It kind of hit me like a truck, and he shined me a lot. And that was pretty much it. I mean, he beat me twice on FD, just overall very solid. He played a lot
Yeah.
like Slip does, where he usually plays really grounded, but he added in a lot of good double jump, like safe double jumps, so baiting me out.
Right. Yeah, he does have a lot of similarities to how Slip and Slide plays. And I think he took a lot from him for that matchup specifically, just because of how successful Ian was in general, but against you in particular. So that was a really good showing. David has been, I think he lives in Greenville now. So he's been going to a lot more stuff kind of in the Triangle area. So it's good to see him come out. Something I wanted to mention for this tournament, but this kind of comes up a few more times in the results, is what do we think about Dash's Falco? He's been playing a lot of Falco, isn't afraid to whip it out in tournament sets, deep in bracket, especially against other Fox players. And I don't know, I've really liked what I've seen from him with it. And it's also felt like really, really good Falco practice, which we don't really get a ton of in NC just because we don't have a lot of Falcos. But did you have any thoughts on that? If you've actually, I guess, have you played his Falco, or would he always just play Ices against you?
He would always go Fox against the Ices. I haven't
I'm
got
sorry, yeah,
no,
Fox.
yeah, I haven't had the chance to play against his Falco yet. But I mean, I've gotten to watch the last few weeks, and not to do too many spoilers ahead, but it looked pretty solid when he played it against David very recently at Eclipse. I thought it looked pretty
Right.
good there. And the other times I've seen it, like I used to kind of make fun of him for having the Falco, but now it seems like an actual good asset. I think it's going to take a good amount more work for it to really be like something that people start to get afraid of, if like for
Right.
counter pick reasons. But no, that it is pretty good, I'd say. Something to look out for.
Yeah. I was really upset that he's leaving. I mean, for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons, but
Yeah.
also because I felt like that would have been pretty like serviceable Falco practice for just out of state stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because he plays the most like quote unquote normal of all the Falcos we have. I feel like just kind of what you would expect to encounter out of state. So
Like Falco lanes are cursed. Like Thief Tip changed to Sheik, Cam quit. Now Alex is moving to South Carolina.
right, Tyro
yeah.
quit.
Yeah, Sneak like all basically quit. Though he
Yeah.
sometimes shows up to stuff, but
He usually doesn't play Falco in singles though. Like he'll play it in teams, but if he's entering singles, he goes like Sheik, or I think he played Falcon once at a Geeksboro recently. So yeah, we don't get a ton of Falco exposure, but yeah.
as Alex's, I mean, I guess we might, as you said, we might get to this with other tournaments, but has Alex's Falco had any, I guess, surprising victories? Well, surprising might be relative to your expectations, but
The problem is he's like gotten very close multiple times.
okay, yeah.
There was a Hornet's Nest a couple seasons ago where he played Slip and Slide in grand finals and played a lot of Falco. And he was really close to winning set one and messed up some execution, and then wasn't able to bring it back in set two. And then, as we'll see it later on, he had a pretty close set against David where he played Falco for 2 games.
I mean, yeah, I think I played as Falco when I was visiting, which is a while ago, but it's still really solid. And I guess part of it is like his Falco's good, but the question is it better than his Fox?
Oh, no way. His Fox
yeah,
is
that's-
definitely a lot
Yeah,
better.
not even close.
That's really like part of the challenge, I think. Or it's kind of like hard to say, oh, his Falco's so good when the standard is his Fox, which is like one of the best in the States.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say kudos to him for being one of the few people who like say they're not going to go their main at tournament and actually sticking with it even after falling into losers.
I know, right? It's a rarity. So yeah, he entered this tournament as Dalco Lambuzi and played all Falco the whole time. So, but yeah, pretty good. Pretty good and big ECG. I think immediately after that, we had Geeks 52. Save State made a bit of a run here where he beat Tiger in winners round 1. That was all Link Ices, as far as I'm aware.
Was it? Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Maybe Tiger won a secondary game 1. I actually don't know. But I do remember that the end of it was Link Ices. It was very close. I think last stock game 3. Yeah. And then right after that, he beat Chi with his Ice Climbers. So Safe State's been messing around with Ice Climbers and, yeah, pulled one off on Chi. Chi was playing with not his usual controller, and it's a tough matchup and all that. But I wanted to talk about Sheik Ices because this is a matchup that has very polarizing opinions. A lot of Ices mains will just straight up say Sheik wins. Sometimes they'll say it's even. Sheik mains hate the Sopo chain grab into wobble.
Yeah.
The way her recovery works, it's like pretty easy to grab her landing because of all the lag.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheik mains will say it's really hard and that they can't win, and the truth is probably somewhere in between and that it's just even. But I know you've kind of been working on this matchup recently, or like thinking about it more
Yeah.
after Pound Underground. So where do you stand on it at this point?
Yeah, I don't remember if I've talked about this matchup on the on this podcast, but I'm usually really optimistic when it comes to Icy's matchup. But this is one that I'm so tempted to say that they lose on. But yeah, but I don't think it's true. It feels like it sometimes. It feels like it until you do chain grab into wobble. If it was not for that, I would actually say Sheik wins. But that is so bad for Sheik that it either brings it even or slightly Icy's favored. Sheik has to play really careful in the neutral, way more than normal. But a lot of her stuff is really good at splitting Ices, and it kind of makes the main climber freak out, which becomes even easier. Like once you hit Nana, it's pretty free in my opinion. To either hit her or hit Popo for kind of freaking out for like trying to hit you for hitting her.
Right.
And she hits them like a truck. She's really good at edge guarding Nana, really good at edge guarding both of them, to be honest. But she has to know the matchup very well to do it.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of really important micro situations that because of the chain grab, if you don't sort of play them correctly and respect Icy's options, it's very easy to just lose your stock and say, well, you know, this is stupid.
Yep.
But I do agree that fair is devastating as far as when you have them split and you just kill Nana with that.
And there's stuff like if you have your shield up to Sheik and she's F tilting you, and your back is to her, there's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
Like you're just stuck. And if you roll, Nana has those like forever frames where she's gonna get hit by Sheik's next option, and it's like frustrating small things like that where it's tough for Ices. But you know, of course, this is just one side of the perspective. So,
would you say that at let's say like mid NC level, that
mid NC level Ices destroy Sheik, if that's what you're asking?
Okay. And you would say it's because of the chain grab primarily?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think it's also IC favor even at like say Miam 50 to 100 level?
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time when people think about Sheik winning the matchup, it's like people like Spark and Ladandis who are playing it at almost the highest level possible.
Yeah, because once you get to like the 50 to 100 level, I mean, that is them. That's the best Sheiks of the matchup. It's so hard to say, and I feel like
most top 50 players don't play Sheik for that matchup.
Exactly,
Right?
they switch.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Look at Shrooms. I mean, his Marth is so good against Ices now. So I mean, Ladenis and Spark are the only ones that like stick it out, and face roll too.
Yeah, I'm always interested to watch that matchup at high level just because of kind of all the discussion surrounding it on both sides.
It is a super lame matchup. Both characters have to play very lame.
I believe that Safe State picked up Ices to sort of prove a point or send a message that you could get free wins with them. And this is the best one he got, to my knowledge.
Yep.
So,
well, he picked him up for two reasons he told me at CEO. One was for Sheik, and the other was for Campy Foxes. So I
Oh.
I was
wonder.
gonna say this is like
Yeah.
kind of a if you have weird opinions about the game, a quote unquote good dual lane. If you're gonna make like a low tier, mid tier dual lane.
Sure,
That makes sense. Link Ices, yeah.
it's
Yeah, 'cause,
very
like,
wacky.
You know the meme like Link beats Marth, Link beats Peach, like Link beats all the
Link beats
meme
Puff.
beats all the characters that beat Ices. And then
Right.
Ices beat like Sheik, who's the top tier that maybe I don't know, maybe
That's-
beats Link the hardest.
That's
Or
oddly
maybe beats
correct.
like Link the hardest and like less without not in the way that Fox might beat Link where well sometimes you just get upbeat and die at 50.
Huh. Yeah, I've never thought about that. That kind of is very strangely true. I don't know how I feel about Icy's Link being good, but I
I mean,
guess.
this is like obviously not at all 100% me.
Oh no, yeah, it's a
being
very
actually honest,
twisted way of
but-
looking at it, but
You know, if you really want to stretch the imagination, maybe there's something there.
sure.
Yeah. So in addition to that, we had Duck over Adonis in winners round 1, and Ryuta over Chi in losers semis. So Chi took 2 losses to Ices, kind of rough. But Duck beating Adonis, I believe that is the first time that's happened. Or if not, Adonis, I think, usually wins that. And then Tiger, after losing to Save State, DQ'd, but he would have had to play Hassel. So we'll never know how that turned out. But if Hassel beat Adonis that day, I'd imagine that he'd give Tiger a pretty competitive set. But we'll never know, unfortunately. And I think that's basically all that happened. I played Pelipper in winners finals and grands, and that's just peach puff. It's pretty hard. All right. Next, we had the first NC State biweekly, run by Zach Lowenberger, and we didn't really have like too many things that I would consider big upsets. Kind of the only one that approaches that is 2 for Tuesday over Kakame in losers round 2. But we did see Time Bones lose to C-Mac
Mhm.
twice. And I wanted to talk about the Marth Ditto since we're on this train of polarizing matchups. I love the Marth Ditto. I think it's great. I
As a
think-
non-Marth main, right?
Yeah, as a non-Marth main, I love watching it. I just think it really forces you to prioritize center stage, and like being in the corner and being off stage is so bad. But Marth mains hate it. They all pretty much complain about it, say it's dumb, you just get F smashed and die. I know Colin really does not like it. So what's the deal? Is it really that bad, or is it just something you gotta get good at and learn?
I will say I enjoy watching the Marth Ditto because I enjoy seeing Marths have to like suffer what the rest of us go through when we play Marth.
You're not wrong
Die.
about that. I don't think I've ever heard a Marth say they like the matchup. Maybe C-Mac, but because I know Alec. I've heard Alec complain about it. I've heard obviously Time Bones complain about it. I think I've heard C-Mac maybe complain about it, but I don't remember for sure. But yeah, it's hard to say. As all non-Marth mains, it's kind of funny for us, but for the rest of them, not so much. Kind of like Icy Zittos or something like that.
I don't know. I always have this like cynical theory that if you dislike your Ditto, that just means you kind of hate your character, but you don't admit that you play a cheesy character.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense for Time Bones. The rest of the Marth mains, I don't know though. But I could agree with that.
I will
I
say
think
there's some really dumb moments that come out of the Marth Ditto. There's a GIF that came up a while ago where a Marth F smashes, and the other Marth tries to F smash to whiff punish for the first Marth like moved out in the F smash animation in time, and then while the second Marth is leaning forward, the first one F smashes back.
Oh, that's terrible. That makes
Maybe you
perfect
should have
sense.
tried to, run up grab or something instead of just
No.
Unga Bunga F
Are
smashing.
you kidding me? Obviously,
It's
you're
got a
not
huge-
Marth main.
He's got a huge grab range. I don't know.
But I guess that is also, but to me, this is kind of the opposite of what I said. Dittos do also kind of create these silly moments, like Sheik Dittos, for example. Whenever you watch like Pluff and Mewtwo play, almost every set there's some point where they both just take turns spot dodging and trying to grab.
Right.
If you play Peach Ditto, you're going to just get into a down smash war at some point where you try to see who can get down smashed out faster.
You can get the rest chains and puff dittos if you don't die off the top.
Yeah, so Dittos are to some extent just like really infuriating by this nature of, I don't know what the best way. It's just the way some things interact with themselves is kind of weird.
Right. I think like I said before, it's just very much about having stage, and that's not an exclusive concept to that matchup. That's something that if you figure out how to play with that in mind, will serve you in other places too. So we have a lot of Marths now, like 5 or 6 that are all kind of mid-level or higher, and they're all very much within striking distance of each other for the most part. So I think we're going to be seeing this matchup kind of over and over again, for better or worse.
At some point, someone should just run a Marth round robin. It'll be like the Falcon round robins and majors, except probably a lot less interesting. From
I would
less,
love to see it.
That would
less
be
flashy, but like I think it would be really interesting from a results perspective. I think it'd just be less flashy, but it would be really interesting to see like every single Marth duke it out and also hate themselves for 2 hours.
that would be a
Yeah.
great Arcadian side event. The Marth
Ooh.
round robin.
I like that idea. Well, we'll see. All right, so then after that, Geeks 53, we had, again, not like too much happening, but Lamb over Pelipper and Lamb over Chi. Lamb kind of sort of a rising star, had some pretty good results. So he beat Pelipper in winners quarters, and then he played me, and we had a very close set. I 4-stocked him game 1. Game 2, it was last stock. I missed a rest on an F smash, and he killed me, and then it was a really close game 3. So very easily could have lost that. And then he drops down into losers and beats Chi, and then loses to Pelipper in the run back. So 2 pretty good mid-level wins in a close set against me.
I think we kind of talked about this last episode, but I think like now, I think back then it wasn't really clear if Lamb would just had like 1 or 2 lucky tournaments or if he really had potential. I think now he's definitely at least in the running for like an Arcadian winner contender, if not maybe a bit above that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see him winning the Arcadian because I feel like there are certain matchups that doesn't, like, his sort of natural play style isn't super conducive to. And usually what I see happen with players is you sort of have a natural way that you want to play the game that works in certain matchups, and then you have to mold and adapt that to the ones where it maybe isn't so kind of just cleanly works. And I haven't quite seen him do that yet. I think he could top 8 the next Arcadian for sure, though.
Wait,
He's very, very
if I
much.
said winner, I
impressive.
meant top 8. That's my bad.
Okay, yeah. Winning would be pretty impressive. But
No one's an Arcadian winning. No one's an Arcadian champ contender because it's an Arcadian.
right. And other than that, also kind of nothing, like no huge upsets at this. I played Alex Dash in a winners and grands. I lost to his Fox, but beat his Falco. And yeah, after that, we had the Death of Geeks event, which we saw an insane run by Capme.
Yeah, for
I mean,
real.
One of the most legendary wins that we've had in NC in a long time. Not necessarily even because of like who he was beating or talent gaps or whatever, but just Peyton is the kind of player that usually pretty solid, will show up and occasionally lose to people worse than him, beat people better than him. He's been playing more Falco lately, so he's kind of in that limbo state of dual maining, but sort of preferring Ices, but wanting to work on his Falco. But he beat Beef Tip into Waylon, into Taheem, into Chi again to win the tournament. This was a 57 player event, and he was the 10th seed. So I don't think we've seen anything like that
That
in
is
a very long time.
That's such a nutty run. Because he said he mostly used Ice Climbers the entire time. Did he use Ices against Beef Tip as well?
I believe so.
Okay, so I know Beef Tip probably went Sheik here, but his Sheik, when I played it against Ices, was very solid. So he beat a good Beef Tip who's always been good against Ices no matter what character he's played against, whether it be Marth, Falco, or even Sheik. I've always thought he played very well in the matchup.
Yeah.
He goes on to beat Waylon, which I lost to Waylon for like a year and a half straight, never taking anything. And he beats him 2-0. And whatever you want to say about Waylon, going to a lot of events or not going to a lot of events, that's Sheik, or that's Peach Ices, and Waylon knows that matchup, so that's extremely impressive on that win. And then
Yeah.
going to Taheem, who's also had like now like 3 or 4 years of practice against me in the matchup. Taheem is also very solid in the matchup. It's just crazy. This is so good.
Yeah, this was a great run, and he game 5 against Taheem, game 5 against Chi
Yep,
twice.
and it's she.
So he
Yep.
really kind of had to fight for this. And yeah, just all around super impressive. It was a tournament that was sort of set up to have someone crazy sort of win it all just because it was held during CEO. So the 1 seed was Sidward because he's PR'd, but then down to like I'd say even like the 17th seed. The 17th seed was Jay Willie. So there's just that whole range of players that could all take sets off each other, I feel.
It's almost like an Arcadian, except with some PR player, like some formerly PR players instead in attendance.
Right. It's kind of like very much Arcadian players, and then you have Black Chris, Sprinkles, Waylon, Jay Willie, Gato. You know, these Taheem players that were formerly PR'd but aren't right now and could maybe get back there, maybe not, but definitely the kinds of people that you need to be beating if you want to get PR'd. Like sort of high Arcadian level targets, I guess I would say. So really interesting. Also though, like not too many other super surprising upsets. Prometheus had a pretty good run. He got 5th, losing to Taheem and Flair. And I don't know. What do we think about Prometheus? He's sort of had a couple of pretty good tournaments and has a lot of potential, plays a character a lot of people aren't familiar with. And already has like I'd say a pretty good punish game. Like he has a very good understanding of what makes Ganon good. Not that Ganon's like a great character, but sort of what his strengths are and stuff. So
If
do we see him doing damage at the Arcadian?
I mean, I think like we need to mention, go ahead and mention as a spoiler, his win yesterday against David. If we're going to talk about him,
Yes.
that was very big, and he looked in control the entire time. I'm sure we'll get to a little bit more in a second, but after that set, yeah, I'm convinced. I've seen a few more of his sets, and he looks like a pretty solid player. Like, he has a few wrinkles to work out, like any player does. But yeah, he looked very solid, and he will be an absolute nightmare for any ICs at the Arcadian. He is going to destroy them most likely, as he did 3-0 to Ryuta, it looks like.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah,
That's-
Ganon Ices, that's a whole other about. But he has a very I feel like most newer players, you can kind of either categorize them as they're too aggressive and they need to learn when to back off, or they're too defensive and they need to learn when to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And both things have their merits and downfalls, of course, but he's definitely more defensive, I feel. So I think the main thing for him is going to be sort of having more mix-ups in neutral. And it's hard as Ganon,
It is, but we're in a
mid-tier.
state where Black Chris, I mean, unless if you live in a triad, you get his practice. But if you don't, Prometheus is going to be the only Ganon you really get to play. So like a lot of those, like the newer players or like like the 2-year-old players, they're going to have a lot of trouble with that because they're not going to know what to expect if they don't know the matchup too well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think also the character composition of like mid-tier NC Melee is characters that can kind of just get swung over if they don't know the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like many Sheiks or Peaches, which are characters that can kind of just rely on their really like mid-tier slaying tools to carry them through unfamiliar matchups.
Yeah, we have a lot of Foxes, Marths, and I guess we don't have a lot of Puffs, but yeah, Marth can kind of struggle against mid tiers, low tiers, and then Fox obviously will win the matchup, but you have to know the matchup, and everyone knows how to combo Fox.
Yeah, this
So-
isn't like to hate on Prometheus or say he's only winning because no one knows his character. Like
But
you have to be.
that is a big part of it, like having matchup experience versus I'm playing a Ganon and I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
guess-
matter if you play Fox and you don't know what you're doing. You're probably going to lose as well.
I guess maybe the way to say what I'm trying to get at is like he's obviously done a lot of impressive stuff so far, and I think if he can show that he's able to also beat like Sheik mains and Peach mains, I guess we don't have that many for him to show that, but if he can show that, then I'll have a lot of faith in him being like a very solid player.
He also he has a pocket Sheik because I don't think he likes playing against Sheik as Ganon. I don't know how good it is, and I don't know if he's ever had like a significant win with his Sheik. But it's something else to keep in mind is that and it would help against Peach too, I'd figure. So he might have that sort of dual main threat going on.
Okay.
But shout outs to Peyton for winning this. I mean, I still can't believe it. Just
Yeah,
looking
it's a
at this
huge win.
bracket.
When I was at CEO and I was told he won this bracket, I was like, what? How?
Yeah.
There's what, 58 entrants in this thing, something like that?
Yeah,
That's
something
crazy.
like that.
It's been a crazy payday.
Yeah, for real. That's what I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
too. Was that a $10 entry or $5?
I think it ended up being 5.
Okay,
I know,
but still
Dylan
not
may
a
have pulled,
not a bad
but-
payout.
Yeah. All right. So after that, we had another ECG. Not super well attended because it was the day after CEO, but some people like sharks or fiends and show up anyway.
Yeah.
So the big story of this tournament
Yeah.
was Key. Actually, well, first of all, Veli beat Sprinkles again.
Oh,
So-
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So that wasn't a fluke. I don't know if this one was Yoshi or not, but yeah, it was also 2-0. It's pretty brutal. Shout outs to Veli. The big story of this tournament though was Key going off. Key hates the Marth matchup, but beat 4 Marths. He beat Time Bones and Lamb and Gato and Tahim to get to winners finals, lose to you, and then play you in grands and lose again. So that was, I thought, pretty amazing. I know that Falcon Marth is kind of one of those matchups that both sides hate, or like there's just a lot to complain about. But I do think it is very close to even. And I mean, it's always a good sign when you can win a matchup that you yourself say like and good at. Did you have any thoughts on like playing him in grands? He's kind of the other sort of up and comer.
Yeah, well, the first thing he told me before the tournament started he said, "Can I get on stream? I just want one stream match." And he ended up having like 5, I think, overall, which is
Yeah.
crazy. He played like a mini GCS in my opinion. His punish game was on point. His drift backs were very good. I was overall really impressed when I played him. He's going to be really good. It looks like he's now, after that win, it looks like he was fiending a lot more tournaments. So I think we'll be seeing him a lot from now on. But yeah, I was very impressed.
I do want to point out, I like that in his interview on stream after the tournament was over, he said like he didn't expect to do this well again. I don't know. I thought it was. I appreciate the humility and like
Uncharacteristically humble.
It is nice to see
for
that
this
where
scene.
you know that you can have these good days, but you're gonna have some bad. Like having one good win does not mean you're gonna always have a good win. It's important for a lot of people to understand too. So I'm glad he knows that like he can do this, but he's got to work hard to have it happen consistently.
Oh yeah, and that's so important. And even like you beat these 4 people, that doesn't mean you're not going to lose to them the next time you play them.
That's right, exactly. But he was just so happy when he was in grands against me. He was just smiling. He was like, "I've been like just doing this for like so much for the last year and a half. Like this is so important." So
there were some
really
very
cool.
cute offs in the VODs.
Yeah.
Also good to just like have another Falcon main around because
Oh
Mike
yeah.
and GCS, Mike doesn't really go to tournaments that often. GCS mostly goes to like large weekend tournaments, but if you're someone who's fiending these ECGs, NCSUs, Geeks Pros, you might not see them that much. And we talk about this a lot, but like getting a diversity of matchups at tournaments is pretty important for the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout outs to Key, another Arcadian top 8 contender for sure. After that, we had the second NC State bi-weekly. Again, like not really any big upsets. We have Amp over Kakame in losers round 2. And then otherwise, Time Bones beat Flare. I beat Time Bones twice. Sharks beat me twice. And yeah, not really much to mention there, I guess.
So if you don't mind me asking, question about the tournament itself, what do we think about the bi-weeklies?
I think it's good. I mean, The venue's not perfect, but it's, a free classroom at NC State with good parking. So can't
Yep.
really complain about that.
The only bad
I
part is
think
they had to go upstairs. I'd say that's the only bad part. It's a little like hard to find, but once you've been there once, you're good.
right. And yeah, going upstairs, no one likes stairs, but I mean, come on. It's not really that. If that's why you're not going to the, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just gonna
But
blame
I
it on the
think
stairs.
I've just been really like, so Zach Lowenberger, the Bear Jew, came to Gommel with us, and I was shocked that he was going to do that because, as far as I was aware, he was sort of like an NC State player that went to NC State events, and the fact that he was going to go to Canada to go to his first major, or even go to a major at all, surprising to me. But it was great hanging out with him. He was really good company, and he
Yes.
came back pretty excited about Melee and trying to run this bi-weekly during the summer, possibly into the school year, because Colin did most of the stuff for NC State and has graduated, so there's a bit of a void that needs to be filled. He ran Eclipse, and I think it's been really good to see someone making like an honest, sincere effort to just run tournaments for the sake of the scene.
And that's
Uh,
yeah, and he's told me multiple times that's just what he wants to do. He's trying to, help out the scene, give him this tournament. So I'm happy that we have it. So hope that can continue to grow. It looks like we had some good growth between the first 2 weeks.
yeah,
It's just like ECG also, where I should be streaming there every time. So hopefully we can continue to get that even bigger and better. So
and it has doubles.
and it does have doubles, yes.
ECG experimented with doubles for 1 week, but as far as I can tell, it's not a regular thing. But there is doubles every week at NC State, and Sharks will always be there. I'm trying to be there a lot. Colin will be there, so yeah, people should come out. It's a good series. We'll see what
I think
happens when the school year starts, but it's definitely going on for the rest of this.
Yeah, I think also one thing that's kind of most people don't think about this, but university tournaments, when the venue is free, that means that the venue fee can actually go towards things like building the community, so supporting streams, getting pot bonuses for larger tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'd be another reason I'd be really happy to see this series thrive. Is while I love like the venues that support our scene, it is a bit rough that sometimes like no money goes to TOs to just refunnel into other parts of the community, or just to reward them for the hard work they're putting
For
in.
real, the
Right,
unsung
right.
heroes of the community are the TOs, I swear.
Yeah. I was talking to Colin about this, and he said, yeah, TOing is easy until it's up at that 10% of the time that it's
I'm sorry, you mind repeating
extremely
that? You
painful.
cut off for just a bit. Repeat that one more time.
Oh, sorry. I was talking to Colin about this, and he said, yeah, 90% of the time TOing is really easy, but it's the 10% of the time when something comes up that it gets insanely difficult and you're pulling your hair out, and it's
Yeah.
incredibly stressful. So, from what I've seen, Zach handles that 10% of the time fairly well for a new TO. So, yeah, come out to NC State. Then, on that Wednesday, we had another Smash Brews. This one had 17 entrants, so still not a great turnout, but I talked to the guy running it. I think his name is Daniel, and tried to get him to advertise a bit more, and said that maybe if he had doubles too, that would attract more people. They have some time constraints at the venue. They have to be done by 10 p.m. and starting doubles at 6 would be kind of tough, but I love the venue. I went to this, and this was my first time going to it. It's, pretty cool bar. They have really good food. Plenty of, melee space or whatever. And the fact that there's this $200 pot bonus every month, I think is insane, especially given the turnout that they've been getting. So I hope more people go to this and keep this alive, because it would be, in my opinion, pretty tragic if a $200 pot bonus series languishes due to poor attendance. But anyway, we'll see about what happens in August.
Yeah, I would love to be able to like record or stream these, but as for now, I cannot do it on Wednesdays. Maybe in the future, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, I hope that I can start attending these sometime in the future.
Yeah, it's a good time. We had IHOP Dan over Time Bones in winners round 2, and this was the first time IHOP Dan has beaten Time Bones. I believe prior to this he was 0-12. So it's always exciting to get that first win over someone that you just couldn't beat in the past. We had Captain Planet over Sidward, winners round 2. Key over Time Bones in losers round 2 again. So that was the second time Key beat Colin this season. And then Key over Sidward in losers round 3.
So how many PR wins is that for Key? That's 3 PR wins, and then wins over Gato and Tahima were formerly PR'd. Is that right?
I believe so. That's 2 on Time Bones, 1 on Sidward. And then, yes, good wins on quote-unquote mid-level players, but, former PR.
Yeah. We should also point out, I think Key went Game 5 with David in this tournament.
Oh,
he
did he
lost,
really?
but still, Game 5 is still pretty impressive.
Yes, he had a tight set against David, too. Which,
yeah.
always super impressive. And then this wasn't an upset by seeding or even necessarily by ranking, but I beat David in winter semis and then beat him again in grands.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
The first time David has ever lost to a Puff ever.
Yeah.
In tournament.
And I feel like as a Puff main, it means so much more than people could possibly understand. Because when you're looking at David as a player sort of holistically, you have this sense of okay, he's about this skill level. But in this one particular matchup, he was literally untouchable. The entire time that we've sort of been aware of his presence, I feel like Zasa has never beaten him, Sprankles has never beaten him, Smash Bob has never beaten him. He beat Aglet at BMR 2.
Barely, but he got it.
Yeah, he barely got it.
With some Tizzle yelling assistance, but
yeah. And speaking of Tizzle also never took a set off David. And before this tournament, I had never taken a game.
Really?
So,
that was your
yeah,
wow.
He is always 2-0, 3-0.
Did you feel like he was playing the same when you were playing better, or what did you think about it?
So when David first came on the scene, he was really good against Puff. I was sort of I guess in denial, maybe. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I thought, this guy doesn't laser. Whatever he's doing, even if I can't beat it, doesn't mean it's good, it's fraudulent, whatever. And it's easy to kind of be complacent in thinking like that, especially with players that have really unique idiosyncratic styles that are really effective. Slip and Slide is kind of another player like this, where I've definitely heard people in the scene say nothing that Slip does is legitimate, and he's, not really that good. He just relies on gimmicks and stuff. And it's really I think kind of an ego defense mechanism to say things like this, because you're trying to just write off this player despite the fact that they have good results and that they beat you, and try to justify it as what they're doing isn't quote unquote real. So, in your mind, you're not really losing them, or it doesn't really count. And I really had to dig deep to figure out what it was about what he was doing that was so good, because I eventually came around to this point of, really, if someone is doing something and they're beating you, it doesn't matter how legitimate or fraudulent it is. The fact is, for you to be a better player, you have to figure out how to deal with it. Top level players might not lose to quote unquote gimmicks, but it's because they know how to beat those things. It's not because they've just achieved this magical status of being skillful so that they're immune to it or whatever. It's because they've seen it before and they've had to figure out how to play around it, how to respect it, what they need to respect and not respect. So I just had to break down what it was about David versus Puff that was so good. And I studied a lot of VODs. I studied every set he played against Zasa, the Aglet set, because Aglet didn't know who he was. So he didn't go into it with any expectations of this guy's, the Puff Slayer. He just kind of thought he was another Fox. So I was really interested to see how Aglet did. David had net play sessions against Hungrybox. I watched those a lot to try to see what Hungrybox is doing that's obviously working here. And I felt like it all kind of just came together at this tournament. I thought he played pretty well, maybe not perfectly, but I wouldn't say he wasn't playing well. I thought it was sort of, a B plus, A minus kind of game. And I just had a game plan that I really stuck to, executed, and it was the stuff that I was seeing in the VOD. trying to figure out how to counter what types of options he was preferring.
That's really
And
cool. Yeah, that's super cool to
yeah,
hear that kind of work pay off like that. So
yeah, I was super excited about that because it would have been, if you just catch him on an off day and he side B's off stage a lot and what, then obviously that would still feel really good. But this was one of the first people that I lost to a lot, or I guess I didn't play him too much. I want to say I was 0-3 before this tournament, maybe 0, but someone that you play and they just beat the crap out of you and you feel like it's hopeless. And this was like I think one of the first times that I sat down and like worked on that and then had it pay off. So I was super happy about that. And David was really like, congratulatory about it too.
that's
Which
good.
is
Yeah,
is
David
always nice
seems to be
see.
very very humble in his losses. He's a very good loser.
He is.
Very
Yeah,
good about that.
he's a
He's great at losing that, David.
Do what?
No, just good at losing is a funny phrase.
Yeah, well, you know the way. I mean, he's
I know what you
graceful and
mean,
graceful in his losses.
yeah, he is very graceful. Like just generally as a competitor. He's a great guy too, and I'm glad to see that he's coming out to stuff because I think it really he kind of, shakes up the metagame a lot. He has these matchups that he's super strong in, and then other matchups that maybe not so much, and we get to see some interesting upsets. But
And I'm sure Tyler's getting bored of just being the uncontested number 2. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, well, no, I don't take any win for granted. I usually get really excited, like no matter what tournament I win. I usually feel pretty proud about it. So
Yeah. So
yeah, but good stuff to you. I mean, there's like very few kind of final boss figures, but I feel like David versus the Puffs was one of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I honestly believed Zasa would do it before me, but felt really good. So proud of that. The very next day, I went to another tournament, Geeks 54. This was at the new Geeks venue, which I think is amazing.
Oh,
It's
I
like
wanted to ask how that was.
it's right up the street from the old one, so basically like the same geographic location in terms of travel time. But the venue is so sick. They have a bar, they have a full service kitchen,
What?
and the room where like we played in, it was still they're unpacking boxes and they have all this stuff everywhere and they're not set up yet, but it's a great space. Has a big projector, probably like 3 times the size of that basement. So
No way,
way,
for real?
way,
That's
way more
exciting.
room to just spread out. Yeah.
are there? Do you know if they're planning to offer like meals at the venue?
I mean, there's like a kitchen in the. I don't know if they're just. It'd be weird if they didn't use it. I don't know what their plans are for that, but there's a possibility, I suppose.
That'd be really nice, especially everyone always has the like, hey Tio, can I go get food before singles? No, you can't because singles is going to start. If there's food in the venue, that's not really an issue anymore.
Right, and that was another thing I loved about Brewmasters is they had a kitchen. So I was just like, okay, I got to the tournament. I'm gonna order some food before bracket. You don't have to go anywhere. And just kind of be there, and they call your match. You're not scrambling to get back.
Yeah,
So-
it's also just like a nice way to support the venue without just paying money out of your pocket that you don't want to pay. Like everyone's
Yeah,
going to get food at it anyway. You might as well, put a bit of it towards the venue.
Yeah, absolutely. So high hopes for that. We'll see how it all kind of comes together moving forward. But it looks like it's going to be really awesome. And I'd love to see like a bigger event hosted there, like the next Arcadian or something. But for now, we got the weeklies. Also, not like too many huge upsets here. We had Facebook Joe over Kakame in losers round 3. I believe Peyton went all Falco at this tournament.
And Joseph
But-
Fox, is that right?
He plays Marth.
Marth, okay.
Yeah. And other than that, she beat Time Bones twice. That's an upset by ranking and by seeding, but not super surprising given their history.
They usually
Right,
go pretty back and
supposedly-
forth, right?
Yeah, I think it's been. Oh, I think there was a while where she won every time, and then as Colin started to improve, it became very back and forth. But She edged him out this week. I played Chi in winners finals and grands. Winners finals, he was up 2-0 on me, and I had to reverse 3-0, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever done to someone before in singles. So this is the first. It was a unique sort of mentality challenge, being down 2-0 and thinking like keeping yourself in it mentally, I guess. I have a tendency to give up sometimes when it just seems hopeless to win the set. Like, I'll still play it out, but I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is over. Like, maybe I'll win game 3, but then he's got 2 counter picks, etc.
There's something about getting that game 3 win that's really inspiring, I feel like. Like, once you get that game 3 win, you start to get the taste of it, and you're like, okay, I can do this. It's a good feeling.
Right. Because when you win game 3, it's not like you go into game 4 at a disadvantage, really.
Exactly.
I mean, it resets.
You already know where you
gotta do it
stand,
again.
and it's just like, okay, let's do this a couple more times.
Right.
I mean, on the other hand, it's kind of hard, I feel, to get into that mindset because, you know, if you're down 2-0, that means you got to go on your counter pick and still lost, and then you might tell yourself, well, I only won because I got lucky on my counter pick this time, and now I have to win on 2 of their counter picks.
Because I took him to Dreamland game 2, and he beat me pretty bad. I think it was like a 2 or 3 stock maybe. And I was just like, wow, okay, usually this is, you know, in Sheik Puff, the stage you go to where you just live forever and you can kind of attrition your way to victory without having to do anything super crazy. You know, you just kind of pace and space and live to 150 every stock. But yeah, losing on your good counter pick it's something that you have to be aware of. I think mentally.
It does suck, but it's just like when you win game 3, you have nothing to lose at that point. You just got to go in there with like a nothing to lose mentality. You were already down 2-0. You kind of knew you were going to lose. So now this is your chance. Like you can do this. This is kind of the way I like to think about it.
No, it's yours is of course like yours is of course the right perspective to have. It's just I'm saying it's a bit hard to naturally force yourself into that.
Sure.
I think especially because most people, and so you two obviously play a lot of best of 5s, but like a lot of people don't get to play a lot of best of 5s. And in best of 3s, if you lose on your counter pick, you probably just lost the set at that point. Like, it's not something you really have to think about most of the time when you're playing best of 3s. Of like, oh, well, I lost my counter pick, so it's basically hopeless from here.
Yeah, that's
at that point it's hopeless because you know it's 2-0 GG.
Right. When I first started getting to the point in tournaments where I had to play best of 5s, that was something I struggled with initially. I wasn't used to the sort of mental endurance aspect that you don't necessarily have in best of 3s. But I also try to think, like, personally, when you're down 2-0, you might think, oh, I got to win 3 games now. But I try to just tell myself, no, I just have to win 1 game. Just have to win the next game I'm going to play. And then you worry about the next 2 games after that. Because if you don't win 1 game, you can't win 3 games. So it's like trying to, in your head, reduce the sort of mountain that you have to climb. You just got to stay alive.
Yeah, 1 step at a time.
Yeah, and before you know it, it's game 5, and
your opponent is freaked out at that point.
Right.
They feel all the pressure, and you're just like, you know it's on them now. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. So that was that tournament, and then finally, NCSU Eclipse. So we had some special guests at this.
Yeah.
Bobby Big Balls came down from MDVA, and Smash Bob SquarePants came up from South Carolina. There were pools, so there's kind of a lot that went on. I'm just going to talk about some notable upsets I saw real quick, and then maybe we can discuss the sort of later in bracket sets that, you know, weren't upsets but were good sets, and kind of discuss that. Because Sharks was streaming, I was on commentary for the day because I enter, so I saw a lot of the action. We had Taheem over GCS in winners quarters.
That's big in my opinion.
I think so too. I mean, by like ranking, it's not a huge gap between them, but as far as I understand, kind of destroyed Taheem the last few times that they've played to the point that it looked not doable.
You can just look back to the Super Famicom money match where it was just like a 3-0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always think back to. I'm sure they've played then, but I just, you know, that was a pretty dominant performance that kind of, I mean, stuck with me mentally at least. But it was game 5. The set was not streamed, unfortunately, but I think that's a really good win for Tahim. And it puts him very much in PR contention this season. He has a win on GCS, 2 on Time Bones, and 1 on Sidward, I think, and not too many unranked losses. So he's someone to look out for.
Yeah. I think it also kind of puts him ahead of other people who are mostly striking on the low end, because GCS is pretty high up there on the current PR, and he's also just like a really good quality win.
Yeah, GCS is a very quality win. It's unfortunate that we're starting to see a dynamic emerge of everyone having a Time Bones or a Sidward win, so it kind of devalues those as PR wins.
We talked a lot about this in the first episode of the podcast, so we kind of knew that like this was a thing that could happen. But yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it that much more important to separate yourself by having other PR wins on the top 8. Because, you know, if you have 5 PR wins and it's 3 Sidward, 2 Time Bones wins, that doesn't look nearly as impressive even as like 1 GCS win, Sidward win. So it's not just about volume, it's definitely also about the quality of your wins. We also had Prometheus over David in winners round 1. So the first set David played, he got 2-0'd and then won 8 sets to get to losers finals, where he lost to Sharks. So crazy run by him.
Is that like the longest losers run we've seen men see?
I don't know. I did the same thing at BMR 2. I don't know if I played 8 sets, but I lost winners round 1 Spain before anyone knew who he was, and then I got like 17th or 25th. But 8 sets in a row is pretty ridiculous. I wasn't there some like the first Arcadian that Waylon, didn't he lose winners round 1?
I'm not sure how early he lost, but I think he did have a big run if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he made it to winners and like the final phase in winners, and he lost to like Sprankles or Purple or Moon Panda, like someone who is also a contender to take the whole thing. So.
Okay. But yeah, that set, like, David was never in control for any of it. Just looked, and he said beforehand that he doesn't like mid tiers. He doesn't know what to do against Ganon, and it definitely showed. But I think he's a good enough player that if he studied the matchup at all, he'd be fine. It just at the time it looked pretty bad though. And that's again what we've said about David, that he's very, very good at the Ditto at the Puff matchup. He's pretty good against Mark. But then there's these weird, Samus, Ganon, Peach matchups that his style definitely does not work for. So, unfortunate bracket for him, honestly, because if he had beaten Prometheus, he would have played Smash Ball. And I think it's pretty safe to say he's favored there.
Yeah.
And, could have made a winner's run, but he got it done anyway. His loser's run, let's see. He got a DQ in losers, beat Hodor 2-0, Roma 3-0, Eddie 3-0, Chi 3-1. And that doesn't seem like a big deal, but he was 0-2 against Chi before this.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, Chi has, if Chi has lost to David, it was like before David was a Fox main, but I'm pretty sure he was just 2-0 lifetime in pretty high profile sets. So David beating Chi was a first for him. 3-0's Time Bones, 3-0, 3-1 against Tahim, 3-2 against Dash in a really close set with some Falco mixed in. And then his run ends at losers finals, getting 3-0'd by Sharks. So,
yeah, really solid run.
Yeah, there's a lot of good names he took.
Like, all those are just individually pretty impressive, especially given that he's been kind of out of the scene for a while.
Yeah.
And, like when you come back after taking a quote-unquote break, there's some resistance initially.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, just like stringing that all together, especially, this is a pretty high-stakes tournament. If you look at, like, the top eight's pretty loaded, so...
Right. And losing that early and knowing that now you have to win twice as many sets to get to the same position can be daunting. But I think David's pretty good about, like, that sort of mentality thing. I can't see him really stressing himself out over it. So that was good. Then, in terms of just like sets that happened, we had Bobby Big Balls reverse 3-0ing Smash Ball, and Sharks 3-0ing Dash, but it was one of the closest 3-0s I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like all 3 games Battlefield, all 3 games, last stock tense situations. This is, I guess, the last time you'll be playing Dash. So he didn't get the win on you, but I know you two have had some pretty good sets over the last few months.
Yeah, very. Every time we play, it's very close. He's really good at being really patient and making Ices feel stupid. He's really good at that. Yeah.
And I'm sure he loves that. He definitely loves making characters he doesn't like.
Oh, you can
stupid.
feel it in his play style. He
Yeah.
plays a very disrespectful way. And it's pretty funny, honestly. So every time he
Yeah.
hits me with the up smash, I'm like, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. We had GCS 3-1 over Smash Bob. That was played off stream, so I don't exactly know what happened with that, but I sort of have mixed feelings about how Justin is Puff. I feel like that's a matchup where both characters just punish the crap out of each other. So in a sense, it makes neutral super, because if you lose neutral, you die. But in another sense, it makes neutral not really matter because you punish the crap out of each other. So whenever I play him, it really feels like he's going to kill me, and it's just about if I can kill him back and do it more. So I would have been really curious to see him play like another Puff. And Smash Bob is like fairly defensive from what I've seen. So it can be really hard for both Falcon and Puff if the other character just says, I'm not going to interact with you. Because you have no projectiles. Puff has insane drift. Falcon has insane ground speed. It can be very it's stalemate kind of neutral where neither one of you is sort of moved past mid stage. And it can be really hard if you're trying to action if your opponent just doesn't really give you anything to jump on. So I wish we would have seen that, but it's played off stream. And Dash versus GCS, that was played on stream. That was game 5. Crazy ending. There were some roll read up smashes.
Oh, don't spoil it. I kind of want to go watch now.
Yeah, it was a good set.
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend that one.
And Bobby Big Balls ends up winning the tournament, reverse 3-0ing Sharks in winners finals, and then brands. It was kind of tough to seed him because we know about how good Smash Bob is because he's been to a few North Carolina things. But MDVA, he's 12th on their PR, sort of a rising star, but not exactly clear where he would have been like on the NC PR necessarily. So he kind of got a courtesy seeding, but at the same time, I guess that wasn't super accurate because he won the whole tournament. He had to go through Smash Bob, Taheem, and then Sharks twice to do it. So he didn't have to play GCS. He didn't have to play Dash. He didn't have to play David. He didn't have to play Time Bones. So I guess really the only thing we have is his set with you, Tyler.
Mhm.
So did you have any thoughts on sort of how that whole winners finals, grand finals went?
Yeah, I mean, he's good at the matchup. I think I have a lot to work on with it. It's harder to say much than that because, I mean, I rarely just get Falco practice at all. So I was happy to get to play him. I was not surprised at all by the result. I'd seen him play versus Ices before. I knew it was not going to be an easy match, and he played well. I wasn't really upset about it or anything. I'm glad I have some stuff to study, and hopefully I can come back the next time and do better against him. So he said he would he'd be more than willing to come to tournaments like that of that size. So I hope we get to see him more in the future.
Yeah, that would be good. It'd be great to get more MDVA down here.
I wish we could have seen him versus more of NC. I would have loved to see him versus GCS.
Yes, that would have been because apparently no Falcons in MDVA, so I think that's one of his weaker matchups. At the same time, though, no Falcos in NC, so I don't really know how GCS does against Falco in general.
Yeah, GCS has a history of dropping sets to Falcos that he maybe shouldn't, but
I guess we'll never know, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
good stuff to Bobby. This was not super stacked, but definitely a lot of our better players were at this tournament, and it's tough to drive 5 hours to something where you're very much not the person anyone wants to see win, and then get it done.
Especially, he's notorious for hating floaties, so like playing Smash Bob and Sharks twice was probably not his dream bracket. But
Yeah, he didn't have to play any fast fallers. He did spend a very long time playing Roma in friendlies. Said that was the
He
most
did.
fun he had of when he had to play at the tournament. Shout outs to Roma. And yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about as far as cool stuff?
I think that's it. I can't really
cool.
think of too much stuff. So come to the weeklies, guys. Can't wait to see y'all there. So
Yeah, come to the rest of the weeklies. We've got we're sort of due for another Arcadian. So very much, even though it hasn't explicitly been announced, it's probably coming. So weeklies are great practice to try to figure out what matchups you're not good at, figure out who your competition is going to be. And there's a lot of really exciting storylines developing with these sort of mid-level players. So I'm looking forward to how that all pans out. All right, so let's move on.
Oh. Really close to stun this time. There's the activation. Going to give him a chance to breathe. The throw works this time.
Yeah, interruption there.
Oh, another throw.
Oh.
Another throw.
How many?
Another
How many?
throw.
How many?
Oh!
It's
Oh
enough!
my God!
Fujimura takes it. Show! I can't believe it! But CEO 2018 champion for Street Fighter V. Give it up for Fujimura!
Oh my God, can John Nick close it out for once?
Oh man, he didn't even punish that.
Like the hell we
Oh.
missed!
They're finally coming out. It's
Oh
gonna
my
come
God,
down.
he's
He has
been
them at
saving
the wall too. Mix up. What's he gonna do?
Demon Paw, John Nick way behind. He's got the range. He's got to make a range comeback now. Oh, the range gun's
This
gonna
is
hit.
big. One
The
more
wall's
mix
right
up.
there. The wall's right there. What's he gonna do? 50-50. He gets blown. He gets
went
punched
for
right.
Johnny Fist. That's
The
not what he
free
wanted.
kick. John
Oh
Nick
my God.
wins the tournament. John Nick was CEO 2018 here in Daytona. The crowd is going wild.
This is crazy that Goichi is that poised right now. So is Leftman. They are so calm right now with only 30 seconds on the timer.
Wow!
Oh my goodness!
Are you
What
kidding
was that?
me?
Oh my goodness!
Yes!
Hold up! Oh my God!
How does he
Hold
block
on,
that?
hey,
How does he
connect.
do that?
Oh, he's still chasing.
Yes!
He's trying to jump out the corner. He's climbing off.
Oh my
He's
God!
climbing
How
off.
did he do that?
That was clutch. Oh my God!
Yes!
Yo, somebody give me an asthma pump.
Yes, sir!
All these weak hits.
Yeah. Wow,
Oh my God,
another
and
weak
again.
hit.
Oh, and another. Oh, and is that it? Oh, he's still. Oh, let's go. He's going Zelda.
He's got Armada. No, but HBox has seen the footage. He
No,
knows.
he's still back. Oh, is this gonna
he's
be
gonna
it?
play it with Zelda.
Oh, he just needs
Oh
one.
no,
And
that's it.
Plum with the Zelda dash attack to confirm the kill.
I didn't know how strong that move was. I thought maybe it would send him nowhere. I've never seen that move before. That is now 2 gods that Plum has taken a set off of with
Whoa.
Zelda.
Hey everyone, this is the random discussion topic for this week's episode. We're going to talk about CEO, which happened a couple weeks ago over in Daytona, Florida. Really fun event, mostly known to be a fighting game community event, but also hosting Smash Brothers. So overall, really fun event. Had a great time, but we'll start with how NC did. First off, we'll talk. I guess we'll go highest first. Money Mike, placing in top 24, so 17th overall, with a pretty good win over Maybe. I don't know, did any of y'all watch that set?
I don't think it was streamed, but
Yeah, or Hi-Fi, did you get to see that set?
I did not.
Okay.
I heard it was pretty close.
It was
though.
a nail-biter set. It was game 3. It went to last stock, and Mike kind of ran away with it on the last stock, if I remember right. But man, it was close. It was pretty fun too because we had a lot of New York cheering and North Carolina cheering against each other over like in friendly terms. So that was a lot of fun. Good set. I was really impressed by Maybe, but I'd always heard he was really good, so wasn't too surprised, but just impressed. And then he lost a lot in another Game 5 set Mike is kind of notorious for. Played well. Shout-outs to those sub-float up airs or whatever.
Sub-float up air.
I didn't get to see some of that. I think you did more or less hi-fi. Do you have anything to say about that set?
What I could tell is that Lod has put a lot of conscious effort into the Falcon matchup. And, I mean, yes, sub-float up air, it's a meme. But there were a lot of other things he was doing that sort of clearly, to me, looked like, okay, I got destroyed by Falcon by this in the past, and I'm going to try to not let that happen again and work around it. And to contrast that, Mike hasn't been playing as much, so he definitely still looked good, but I think that the reason Lod won that set kind of came down to preparation. I'd like to see them play again if, you know, Mike was like a little warmer, so to speak. But, I mean, even without that, it was a pretty close Game 5, and
Yeah.
it was very doable, so...
Yeah, and then he lost to KJH, which is actually who he lost to in losers. That's at SmashCon last year. Yeah, looked about the same, to be honest. It's tough. KJH knows that matchup very well. Honestly, it looked it looked kind of impossible. I know it's not, but
bad.
Man, it was tough to watch. And no offense, like on Anthony or Mike, it's just KJH was really good. It was tough.
Yeah.
KJH would like kill off of every hit, and Mike was having a hard time doing any conversions. KJH's defense was great. Yeah. Very similar to last time.
He also beat Big Kid.
Oh, yeah, he
who's
did beat Big Kid.
A New York Puff who's kind of gotten a lot of exposure lately. I think he's beaten Slox and some other sort of New York or Northeast Fox. I don't remember.
Yeah, Big Kid's been on the grind for like 2 years now. He's been to, I'm not kidding, I think every single national I've gone to. That man is a fiend. I see him every national I go to. I remember one time I was on a setup at CEO Dreamland, actually, so a year ago, and I sat down with Nunn and got some friendlies, and this Puff came up beside me and plugged in and beat Nunn game 1.
Wait a
what
minute.
The heck?
Didn't
Who
you
is
say
this?
you've never played friendlies with a top 100 player?
That's true. I did. I got one game in with Nunn because he left after that. It was one game. One game. So never mind. I got one game in with Nunn. I think I thought about it later. I think there was one more time I got one game in with somebody. But yeah. So I guess we'll count one game with Nunn as a top 100 friendly I had before Army. And I forgot that I'd also played Army in a top 100. No, I don't think he was top 100 then. So never mind. Yeah, that one Nunn match was the only one before Army this past weekend that I got top 100 practice with. Let's see. Yeah, Big Kid's a fiend. He's very good, but you know, he has a ways to go also. So I'd be on the lookout for him in the future.
Shoutouts to Big Dad.
I do not know. Oh, is that a thing, Big Dad?
Pretty sure his dad is the one who his dad is the one who funds him going to these tournaments,
Dang.
and I think he on occasion just comes to the tournaments to support him.
That's super.
I'm pretty
cool.
sure I saw his dad at Genesis. So
That's super neat. I did not know about that. I have to be on the lookout for him next time.
Big Dad.
Big Dad versus Tech Dad. Okay, was that it for Mike? I think I wasn't sure if there was any other notable matches. He didn't even do doubles, did he?
No, because Crush dropped out.
Yeah,
He was going to team with
that's
Crush,
right.
and to be honest, they could have
Done
gotten
work.
like third at this event.
Yeah.
I
that would
think.
have been a huge treat to watch if it happened. Unfortunate that didn't.
I know. I really wanted to see that.
Okay, then I guess we'll go on to me. I got to play XL0 in winners finals of pools, which I was not super worried about, but you know I was a little nervous about it because it's a Peach.
Is he the Puerto Rican?
He
Peach?
is number one PR'd in PR. So yeah, he is the number one Puerto Rican Peach. We had a 2 out of 3 because it was in pools. Winner makes it out on winner's side, and I barely beat him game 1 on a comeback wobble on Dreamland, and game 2 was a 3 stock, either 2 or 3 stock. So pretty handily the second game. So I was happy about that one. That's in my opinion, like that's a quality win for me. Like those kind of wins, like I kind of had like lost a little bit of confidence at my last couple of nationals. So I was really happy to get that one. Second day, I played Plup in my first match of the day, and game 1 came down to last hit. It was so close. Very, very close game 1. Game 2 was a 2-stock his way. So I was pretty proud of the way I played. I thought I held my own really well. It felt like
Did
I was.
Did he play Fox against you?
No, he played Samus.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
it was a
didn't actually know
Samus.
that.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't think he's like the best in the world of the matchup or anything, but he's solid. So I was
very good.
fine with the way I did. I then went on to play the winner of you versus Drunk Sloth, which I guess we'll go ahead and talk about since that's kind of in the way there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about that in a second. So you played Drunk Sloth. I played the winner. So Drunk Sloth won versus you, and we got to play. And that was also a best of 3, actually. I did not think I was going to win that. Drunk Sloth has always been an Ices I've looked up to. So I knew I had improved a lot at the matchup recently, so I was happy about that. But I wasn't going in with high expectations on it. He took game 1 with a pretty solid 1-stock. Game 2, I won in a really close game. And game 3, I 2-stocked him. And I was very happy about that one. That was one of those matchups I was like, yeah, I would not beat Drunk Sloth if someone was to ask me. So that was a good confidence booster for that. That was also the first time he's ever lost to an iSeason tournament, so I'll take that one.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's pretty impressive.
That's
then.
what Pi told me after when me and Pi were playing friendlies. So Pi is his like old training partner. He said, yeah, that was the first time he'd ever lost. He told me in the ICC Ditto tournament. So I won that, and I went on to play Prof, the Marth from Florida, who Tiger had already beaten. And that's one of those matches where you start to get in your own head really bad, where you beat Drunk Sloth, and you're like, yes, I won a quality win enough to get into top 17, but then there's still someone standing in your way. And you start thinking to yourself, what if I lose to this guy? Like, how bad would that be? And then all of a sudden, you're down. You've lost game 1, and you're down on your counter pick in game 2, and you are freaking out. And that was me versus Prof. I was so scared. I played awful the first couple of games against him. Barely clutched down on FD in game 2, and then games 3 and 4, I beat him pretty solidly on FOD. So, but that was not the prettiest set. And then I played Army in top 24, so I got 17th. He 3-0'd me. So I was pretty happy about the run overall. 17th. I always love making it into that last pool of players. I always feel like I've accomplished something when I got there, so I was happy about that.
Did you feel like the Army set was doable, or
yes?
Additionally, was there anything that he did in the Ditto that kind of surprised you?
He was a better player than I was, and that was the only thing I can say about it. It was just like, as silly as the IC's Ditto is, he was just a little bit better at it, and he was also a better player. And that's pretty much all there was to it. He just was better. There were some small things that he did. I was like, yeah, he knows this matchup pretty well, but nothing that I couldn't overcome, like on a day where I was playing better than him or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get Zasa. I didn't get to see much of his run, to be honest. I saw his Milkman set, but that was it.
Yeah, he lost game 1 and then won the next 2 games off some, I don't want to say crazy rests.
They were
but
pretty nutty.
They were big, like jump read kind of things, Once he got the up air, the conversion was, something he's going to hit every time, but it very much a big brain play.
In game 3, I think he got 3 off of just up airing Milkman's full Hoff into rest.
Yep.
And that's like kind of why we like Zasa, right? He just like gets these nutty reads by just kind of digging deep into the minds of his opponents and figuring out what they're going to do.
Well, let's be honest. Fox is just gonna Unga Bunga full
That's
Hoff.
Fox is also always going to full off.
But yeah, good stuff to him. He then played Mewtwo King, and in classic Mewtwo King fashion, Mewtwo King says, okay, I need a hand warmer. The hand warmer for like 5 minutes. The Mewtwo King says, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Goes to the bathroom, which is on the opposite side of the venue. Comes back, says, wait, can we hand warmer again? Hand warmers again for 5 more minutes. And then 2-0s him. No problem.
Yep, I don't think there's much more to say than that, to be quite honest.
That checks out.
How long was the actual set?
I was watching it. It wasn't like super quick because the way Mewtwo King plays that matchup is he will laser you to death if you let him. I don't know. It's maybe
Okay, so it wasn't like the Axe Wizzy set where Wizzy iced Axe for 10 minutes and then lost in 9.
No, it was well, the set was shorter than the time they spent hand warming and waiting for Mewtwo King to go to the bathroom. But I don't think it was like Zasa didn't get run over. He just kind of got attritioned.
Oh.
And then who did he? So he
beat,
lost to Mewtwo King, and then who did he play after that?
He beat Yort, who quick shout out to Yort. Yort was coming off. He had a really depressing set ending against Cyrox where he was up like 2 stocks low percent to 1 stock high percent and side B off the stage twice. Then Yort went on to beat Colball in losers. So shout out to him. Then when Zasa and Yort played, and then Zasa beat Yort to make top 24.
Where he lost to Swedish Delight. I was talking to him about that because Swedish, I guess other than Plup, I feel like Swedish is the best at the Puff matchup as Sheik. And Zasa said he just never could get out of the corner. It's like everything he did in that position, Swedish knew what he was going to do and hit him off stage for it. And it's a really tough spot for Puff to be cornered against Sheik. So Zasa made it sound like it wasn't really doable. But I don't know. I didn't see the set. It's really unfortunate that I think he is now 3-0 on Yort. They tend to play a lot at out-of-state events for whatever reason. But I think Yort gives him a tough set every time. And yeah, losing the way that he did to Cyrox into beating Colball and having sort of the mental fortitude to keep going after that, I think is pretty big. Because I wouldn't have been able to.
Because it's also like isn't the first time Yort just barely got edged out of big wins before. I'm pretty sure. I think at CEO Dreamland he like almost made out first in his pool. And it's something I don't remember the details, but he just didn't make it there.
Yeah, I love the way he plays. I think he's so insane. So I like seeing him do well. But yeah, Zasa beats Milkman and Yort to also get 17th. And then the rest of NC in singles, there's a pretty big gap. I think the next highest placing was like 49th. There were a lot of us there. I don't exactly recall how the splits all went, but me, Dash, Tylenol, Tiger, Adonis,
Ender, Time Bones.
We were all there.
Yeah.
And as far as
There's
I
a
can
few
tell,
others.
everyone had a pretty good time.
Yeah. We'll talk about doubles real quick, then we'll talk about the actual rest of the tournament environment. If you want to speak about doubles, I mean, real quick, me and Time Bones teamed. I think we got 13th, so pretty good overall. We lost to Maybe and Hungry Box, which was kind of a blowout. Did really well against the rest of the teams, in my opinion. I was really happy with the way we played. I told Colin the biggest thing was make sure you punish people for punishing Popo, and
Yes.
he capitalized on that very hard. He got very clutch kills off of that. So shout-outs to him being a really good teammate. And then we also lost to XL0 and his teammate, the Puerto Rican team. And I'll leave that one to y'all because I know you also played him.
Yeah. And before we move on, I just wanted to say congratulations to you and Colin for being a top 5 NC doubles team.
Wait,
based on...
are we?
Yes, you are.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that's cool. But yeah, so Alex and I were in SFAT Pew Pew's pool, and they got hung up because there were a lot of people flying in that didn't make it in time for their pool because of weather conditions or something. So they had to drop out, which is cool because I think Alex and I were the 5 seed, so we're on that side of the bracket. So we said, okay, if we can beat the 4 seed, then we get out in winners. And we played Crudo and Lad. Crudo is a CFL Sheik and Lad is a CFL Fox, and they're both PR'd and pretty good. It was a 2-1. They won game 1, and there was a lot of what I would consider BM cheering from Central Florida.
Yes.
But Crudo, I mean, was really polite about it. You know, mid-set said, "I'm sorry about that. I can't, control him or whatever." So I just always really appreciate that when, because you can't, people are going to come up behind your set and say whatever they're going to say, and we have enough inter-region conflict as it is. I don't think NC can really handle any more out-of-state rivalries.
Neither can CFL, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We all have enough on our plates at the moment. But it was, they played Fox Chic, and Alex and I haven't had too much experience against that team, but we're both sort of comfortable in like the individual 1v1s. And I think we just sort of got warmed up and got comfortable and clutched it out at the end. After that, we played like a Pikachu Samus team, and I think they were from out of the country. I want to say they were from the Bahamas, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, Pikachu Samus, that's weird. They would have lost to SFAT PPU, but they stole their seed. That was a pretty easy 2-0. I don't know what that team is like supposed to do. So I just kind of us better playing them. Then we played KJH and Ginger in winners top 12, I guess, or whatever it would have like been winners finals of the pool. It felt very doable. Like the first game was dead even until the very end, where there was one situation that could have had both of them dead, but ended up with Alex and I both dying. And that kind of thing just happens in doubles, swings like that. But what was insane is that I know KJH and Ginger like practice team combos into kills because I've seen it on Ginger's stream, and they hit me with one of those to start game 2, and I was dead in literally 10 seconds. Like, up tilt bear, Falco dare, Fox up air, like that kind of thing. And it just happened so fast that Alex didn't even process that, like, I needed help. It was literally in the first 10 seconds of the game. So, I mean, I've played teams like that before and just gotten blown out and felt like I can't even do this. But the set felt very, very doable. Just sort of like Alex and I would both have to be better singles players. But as far as teamwork, double stuff, I was really proud of how we did against them. And then in losers, we played the team that Tyler and Colin lost to, XL0, and I think his teammate's name is like Lean or Line. But number 1 and number 2 in Puerto Rico, they played Peach Chic, and we ended up playing doubles friendlies with them like afterwards for about like an hour and a half, and it was some of the best doubles I've ever played. First of all, they're playing Peach Chic, which is an insane team already, but they had like a playbook full of setups. Like one of them would get a jab and then say something in Spanish and then do like an 80% team combo off it. It was just absurd to me how good they were at coordinating hits and like playing teams. And it's just really refreshing to see that, because a lot of times in teams, if you're just better players, you'll just win because you're better players. And these guys were good players, and then on top of that were clearly and had just tons of stuff worked out and really pushed me and Alex. We lost at the end of game 3 because I had a 1v2 against them and I killed the Sheik, and then the Peach pulled a Stitch, and we were both at like 150. I could have maybe pulled it off, but I like drifted into the Stitch because he threw it straight up.
Oh man, that was.
But yeah, but
such
I was just
a
like
nutty end.
I was just like, oh man.
I really thought you had it, but that stupid he just chucked it up, and it was kind of like in a weird spot, and it just hit you when you were drifting towards him. It was so weird.
Yeah. I think I got caught in that space of like I could drift through now and get under it, but if I hesitate, I have to go around, like back and around it. But like didn't, pick either option really. And they were really cool guys too, so it was nice to see them do well. But I don't know. I think it just goes to show what can happen if you have a static teammate and you play a good team and you just work on setups together. It is just incredible, some of the stuff that they did to us. So it would have been nice to win that, but I was really happy with that. We got 9th. Back-to-back 9th places for me in teams at majors, which
good.
Yeah, I mean, I love teams, so I'm psyched about that. Trying to make it 3 in a row at SmashCon with Arun, but we'll
Oh
see.
god, no pressure or anything.
Yeah, Ren.
But yeah, that was dubs, and I don't think anything else super notable happened with any of the other
Yeah,
NC
I don't
teams,
think so.
especially because Mike and Crush didn't play.
Well, I think it's time to talk about the tournament itself. So I got to enter Street Fighter V as well as Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. So I got to see a lot of the FGC side at the tournament, which is really neat. I know you watched Tekken 7 Grand Finals or Top 8, which I heard was fantastic. I still need to watch that. I got to watch Street Fighter 2 Grand Finals, some of Smash 4 Top 8, all of Melee Top 8. But yeah, it was the first thing I want to say was I couldn't believe how open and welcoming the FGC was towards me as a Smash player. Anytime I told them I played Smash, they were cool with it, and then they were extra cool when I told them like I like to play the other games too, like I entered the other ones, and they were like, "Oh, it's so cool to see like some Smash players playing other games too, and stuff like that." So I didn't hear a single bad word about Smash from any of the FGC. Everyone was super welcoming. Even when I like did terrible in Street Fighter, like people were like, "Oh, you played really well. Keep going, like keep getting good," and things like that. So very welcoming. Blaze Blue was super nice. Had a great time there. Everyone was very welcoming. That was more of a grassroots type tournament, so I was like used to that with the PM feeling. And of course, the FGC did stink more than Smash Brothers. I just want to put that out there. It was definitely stinkier over there. But
Oh, they treat you so nice. You're just gonna throw some shade at
yeah,
them.
I will, because I'm so sick of people saying that the Smash community stinks. It definitely stunk more at their side. But no, overall, it was great. The tournament was a blast to attend. I will definitely make it a priority to go to these in the future.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I went there as someone that only plays Melee, and I don't know anything about fighting games, but I watched Tekken Grand Finals, and it made me want to play Tekken. I mean, I kind of wish that I had more time,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of other fighting games that I would love to get into, and
Yes.
just
Tekken's a good one for you. I know Colin's already picking it up. I already played with him recently.
yeah, that's cool. It was a really exciting Grand Finals, and it seemed like sort of echoing what you said about the FGC. The guy was really happy that the other guy won, because I think it was his first major win
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, for John Ding, I would think so.
But yeah, it was cool. Just other like the venue I thought was great.
Oh, fantastic.
I really liked it.
I wish y'all could have seen, like, people who watched it online, I'm sure it looked great, but that top 8 venue in person was just amazing.
Oh yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
mind-blowing, like, how good it was.
I knew about the wrestling ring thing and thought it, whatever, it's just like a gimmick. But seeing it in person, yeah, is totally different. It's super cool to watch another game in that context, but then also, like Melee top 8. So I'd like to go back next year. I was
Yeah,
a fan.
for sure.
And I don't know if they're going to hold it in Daytona again or if they're going to go back to Orlando.
I
but
feel like they're probably going to do Daytona. Like, I know Jabali is going to try to fix, because there was a lot of talk about the city itself, which was pretty crappy. Because I think they've had it booked up to like 2019 or like 2020 or something like that, or even
Oh, wow.
longer. Yeah, like he like had a deal with them basically. But he's trying to he said he was taking this very seriously about the complaints he heard about the city. So I hope that something's done about it, because yeah.
Yeah, and without going into that too much, I think it's really important as a competitor who travels to these sorts of things to have some loose notion of sort of where you're going. The United States is a really big country. There's a lot of different sort of places within it, and not everywhere you go is going to be like home.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not okay, like what was happening, of course, but I do think there is some amount of responsibility on us as, people traveling to another place to be, loosely informed of sort of culture clash things that we might run into. Luckily, nothing within the actual event seemed to be an issue.
Not in the event at all.
Yeah, it's just was run very well. Everyone seemed to be getting on well, and it's good to hear that you had good experiences with other FGC players.
Also, a lot of people went out to the beach, right? That was one of the advantages of Daytona over Orlando.
Yeah, we didn't get the
Yeah,
chance
it was like
to, but I
right
wanted
next to the beach.
Like we had a beachside motel basically. Yeah, and then I guess the last thing to talk about there, we hit on it last week, but Smash Ultimate was playable there. I went to the demo 5 times with Izzy, 5 different times. So that was probably
How long do you feel like you waited in line?
So
total?
the free for all lines were about 30 minutes, so nothing too bad there. But the final day, me and Izzy really wanted a 1-versus-1, especially because they were doing 3 stock, no items, 2 matches, which was amazing. And we waited in line about an hour and a half for that one, but that was 100% worth it because that was where you really got to feel the game out. But so I would say overall, I probably waited 3 to 3.5 hours in line to play it 5 times, which honestly is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the line on.
Yeah.
I saw the line on day 1, and it was wrapped around the venue. I was just like, oof.
If it's at SmashCon, it's going to be so much worse. It's going to be really bad.
What did you have any impressions about the game and sort of how the engine works now that you got your hands on it?
Yeah.
And which characters did you test out?
So of the 10 matches I played Ice Climbers 9 times. The game is really fun for people. If you like Smash 4 or like somewhat like Smash 4 but has some problems with it, I think you're going to like this game. If you hated all of Smash 4 completely, this is not the game for you. It felt like a much, much better Smash 4. It's felt a lot smoother, much faster. I mean, it's going to be hard to tell based off like mostly free-for-alls, but I was very pleased with it myself, kind of knowing what I was getting into when I played it. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. Can't wait to play it again.
Were there any things that maybe worried you or that you were unsure about when like all the reveal and E3 stuff was going on that were assuaged by actually getting to play the game?
So it's going to be more notable when I play it more, but I did not notice the knockback that much when I was playing it. But it was kind of hard to because like you're playing this new game of a series you've known forever, so it's kind of overwhelming almost. It's like, oh my gosh, like there's so much to take in that it's really easy to miss the things like that. Because mostly like I'm focusing on the positives, like, oh, this feels really good, this is really interesting, I like this, I like this. So nothing really stood out for where I was like, oh, I hate that. I couldn't think of anything that was like that, to be honest. So, yeah, nothing really concerned me at all, thankfully. So that's one of the reasons I was so excited. I was like very pleased every time. Like me and Izzy stepped away, like when we were done, we're like, oh, this was so cool. This was cool about this. This was cool about that. So, and we actually have some videos if anyone wants to watch me and Izzy playing it. If you just look up CEO Ultimate Ice Climbers, you'll see me and him. We have like 3 different videos of that, so it's pretty fun.
It's cool that they let you film.
So, and it was really funny because the Nintendo employees were like, some were more strict than others. Like some let us do it the entire time, film the entire time, and others were like, I'm just going to film like 2 minutes. And it was like I got this really cool ledge desync off one of them, but he wasn't filming it, and I was so mad. I was like, man, this is like, I kind of wish I could watch how this was done, but you know, couldn't always record everything. Different people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's kind of upsetting with like there's only I've only seen one combo clip from Ultimate so far.
What was
I
that?
think it's Larry Lur like using Snake to nair someone across the stage.
Oh, there's a couple there's a Link one as well.
Okay.
But no, I mean the game isn't super combo heavy or anything, kind of like Smash 4 was. I think it's going to be about the same in that regard about how big combos are. If that's what you're referring to. So, I mean...
no, I was just saying, it's kind of like upsetting how little footage there is currently.
Yeah, I guess. There's just mostly the hand cam footage of, like, everything.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be like that till the game comes out, pretty much. Or to a demo, if that happens. Was there anything else, Hi-Fi, that we had about that? I think that covered most of it.
Yeah, I got to test out the Smash Stick, which is this new Smashbox thing that has, you know, an analog stick, and then it's like a
fight stick.
Yeah, basically just a fight stick designed for Smash. And there were things I liked about it and things I didn't like about it. It felt surprisingly natural, and you know, I haven't played other fighting games, so I have no fight stick experience, but it felt like something that I could get used to and that I could play on, whereas I feel like the box that Hax uses that's just all buttons, that would just be like, it would take me years to get back to where I am now in terms of like comfort moving around and stuff. But this having like a normal, stick was pretty manageable. There were some layout concerns that I had, and the people who were sort of running the booth that I talked to unfortunately seemed to have this view of we spent so much time designing this perfect design that any changes to it would be suboptimal. But I think one of the cool things about Melee is how many different ways there are to sort of do the same thing, and that different people have different control preferences with, all using the same GameCube controller. And not every character in the game plays the same. I play Jigglypuff. She has 6 jumps. Aerial drift is super important. Wave dashing is often faster than running for her. In fact, like most of the time, you're wave dashing to cover short distances rather than running. So the way that I might want to set up my buttons might be different from, the way a Spacey wants to set up their buttons. But they were really insistent that, they have found the design, and that deviating from it will lead me to break my hands or whatever. So that was a little disappointing.
The nice part about that is if it's like any other fight stick, it's usually pretty easy to like just rewire the buttons.
Right.
A lot easier than you would think if you're not used to using one. There's just like very clear ports to put them in, so that should be pretty doable.
Yeah, so there's the possibility of rewiring buttons. This wasn't just like a Melee specific thing. They're trying to develop it with Smash Ultimate in mind. So I guess if that's something anyone's interested in, that's something to look out for.
I wish I could have tried it as someone who uses fight sticks in other games, but I never got the chance to, so couldn't comment too much on that.
Yeah, maybe they'll be at SmashCon.
Maybe.
They seemed very gung-ho about, promoting themselves.
Yeah, they were very much salesmen when I went and talked to them earlier.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But I had a great time. I thought it was a really good event. And it was good to see a lot of NC show up. There were a lot of first-time out-of-staters, which is always good. So I think for most of us, the next big out-of-state thing is SmashCon, right?
Yes, I can't wait. It's a month away. Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
It's actually about 3 weeks away, to be honest. I am pumped for SmashCon. I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a good time. All right.
Okay, on to the next segment.
Hello, and welcome to the game show segment where we continue Graham and Shark's ongoing battle of wits to see if they can just play the dumb games I bring to them. And really, they shouldn't be proud of winning, but we're making this a thing of pride. So every episode, I bring some trivia-based game for them to compete in, and we're keeping a running lifetime total. Last episode, you two tied. I probably could have designed that better so that wouldn't happen. That means right now the score is Graham 1.5 to Tyler 0.5.
On the board.
Tyler's playing to tie it this time. So I have a question for you guys. This isn't for any points, but what do Smash Bob and Bobby Big Balls have in common?
Other than Bob in the name.
Yeah, they're both Bobs.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking of. I also thought you guys would say they both came to Eclipse, which also wasn't what I was thinking of.
I guess.
They've both written raps about Smash.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So-
Have they really?
They have. You'll be hearing about that because this game show, I'm going to play you a clip from a Smash song. It's going to have part of it deleted out, and then I'm going to give you 4 options for what the words in that deleted out part are, and you're going to have to tell me what your guess for the missing words are. So there's no further questions.
Hi-Fi, I have a question for you, Hi-Fi. How many of the Smash raps have you listened to?
0.
Okay, I have listened to 1, and I also watched Mike Hayes' rap battle last year. So I think we're at a pretty even position here.
Well,
Yeah.
what you're forgetting is I have insane lyricism.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to lose.
Yeah, so a lot of this I feel like will be your ability to intuit like what would be a good word
Oh,
to
yes.
go there.
This will be
This
bad.
is also testing my ability to come up with fake lyrics, which we'll see how that goes. I don't know, I
that's
feel like
actually
there's a decent
cool.
chance
so
you
this
guys
is
would,
multiple
like,
choice.
It is multiple
Okay,
choice.
thank the
I'm
Lord.
not making you just guess things out blind. I feel like this might be a low-scoring game if that happens. All right, we ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, here's clip number 1.
Awful. Make this pussy stop talking. You're not one of the gods, you're one of the god awful. We all when looking at your fox, bitch, stick to smash 4 and losing by 4 stocks. Now
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry about that. I'll be more ready next time. Okay, so I'll just repeat the line. It is, we all blank when looking at your fox. So your options are A, gotta hate, B, gawking, C, got game, or D, got AIDS.
Okay, can you say the lyric one more time? Cause like, what were the? Do you have the surrounding lyrics of what it was, by any chance? Or was it just that one clip?
Are we also DMing you our answer?
If you're DMing the answer.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is, I'm not lawful, make this pussy stop talking. You're not one of the gods, you're one of the god awful. We all blank when looking at your fox. Bitch, stick to smash 4 and losing by 4 stocks.
Oof. What,
And again, the answers are A, gotta hate, B, gawking, C, got game, or D, got AIDS.
I have no idea. This is like one of those like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire questions where you're like you think it's gonna be easy and then you're like
Can you read
this
the
might
answer choices again?
trick you.
Yes, A is gotta hate, B is gawking, C is got game, and D is got AIDS.
Wrong chat, Tyler.
Did you already put your
Alright,
answer
well-
in?
I already put my answer
Ah,
in
thank the
before
Lord.
that.
Okay.
All right, well, you as Graham now knows, you both said the same thing.
Okay.
So you both guessed gotta hate.
Yeah. Is
It
that
is
right?
actually,
Yeah.
I also thought it was gotta hate or something like that. It's actually gawking.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
It's a big word for chilling.
Yeah, big 7 letters. Right, so tied at 0, but you know there's still
Ooh.
I have 10 of these total just for reference, so it's still
Oh,
got
man.
9 chances.
Oh boy.
All right, next one is I should go and tell you what these are so that you know you can anticipate the lyrics a bit. The next one is "Nice Shot, Hugo,"
Ooh. Okay.
or not.
awful. Make this pussy stop talking. You're not one of
You never get too much. Of that.
Just kidding. This episode's actually just the Chillin' Dude Rap 10 times.
Oh, I'm good with that. Just quote it.
Don't get me wrong, we ain't talking bad players, but you can't even sleep without nightmares of yeah. Pull it back, hit you with a slow flow. Make the comeback. Get back to labbing. If you spend some time playing it, you might stop losing the Falcon and maybe even the Ganon. Don't get me wrong, we ain't talking.
Oh, I did not mean to.
Just kick the bot.
I did not mean to. I'll bring it back, but some technical difficulties. Okay, in the meanwhile, so the lines were pull it back, hit you with a slow flow, make the comeback, blank. So options for blank: A, because you're only so-so. B, but Hugo's not ready though. C, man, your year's been low lows. Or D, like 2 stocks with Sopo.
And what was the line again? I'm sorry.
Totally fine.
Can you
pull it back?
Can you
hit
repeat
with
it like
this-
one line previous as well, by any chance? Just like so we can get the context.
Okay, previous line is, don't get me wrong, we're not talking bad players, but you can't even sleep without nightmares of yeah-yes. And then the line is, pull it back, hit you with the slow flow, make the comeback, and then I want you to give me the second half of that last line. And again, options are A, because you're only so-so. B, but Hugo's not ready though. C, man, your year's been low lows. Or D, like 2 stocks with Sopo.
Okay.
Alrighty, let me hear those guesses.
I said D.
I also said D.
It was 2 stocks with soap, though. The
Okay.
context does help a lot there.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're tied up at 1.
I'm not gonna lie. I picked D because I figured you wouldn't have come up with that yourself.
Honestly, that was one of my. I was gonna say if it was not D, I was like gonna give you a hand for that one.
I'm a terrible lyricist.
No,
This-
it's fine.
I was having a lot of trouble because there's only so many things that rhyme with slow flow
Yeah.
and
No,
that
for
are
sure.
anywhere as convincing as
I
Sofo.
thought Lolo's is pretty good because I think that would be like something Chillin would come up with. So like I thought I liked that one a lot too.
Alrighty, the next track is the counter disc track to this one, which is No Chill by Mike Hayes. Or
Been here 10 years, still irrelevant. Never getting gold, cause that's too far out your element. Guess you gotta rap to make yourself a better kid. While you talking smack, who'd you lose to at Genesis? I'm stepping to chillin', reppin' the West, I'm the villain. Never been solid like liquid, I wrap 'em up like I'm gifted. This shit's been written in the hidden scripts. That chillin' would probably lose to Eichelman.
okay, so that was fast. So the thing is, I'm not gonna be able to do it as fast as he did, but this shit's been written in the hidden scripts of blank that Chillin would probably lose to Eichelman. So the options for blank are A, Bobby Scar's Moat de Fin, B, Leffen's 5-0 win, C, Meom's recycling bin, or D, Tafikins' living kin. Do you need any of that repeated?
Yeah, I'm gonna need basically all of that repeated one more time if you don't mind.
Okay, so the line is, this shit's been written in the hidden scripts of blank that Chillin would probably lose to Eichelman. A is Bobby Scar's Moat de Fin. B is Leffen's 5-0 win. C is Meom's recycling bin. And D is Tafikins' living kin. And for A, moat is M-O-T, it's a French word.
Ooh.
It's not like a literal moat around a castle.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get some guesses. Graham?
I said B.
I said A.
So this one was actually D, which is Tafikins' living kin.
Oh man, that was the worst one. All of yours were better
this
than that.
doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I liked all of yours better than that.
I tried to play really hard off the whole Smash script meme and also Leffen chillin'. I'm glad that worked out. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
give myself
those were
a point
good.
for that.
Yeah, for
you should
sure,
get that
for
point.
sure.
Alrighty, so we're gonna continue the Smash raps because Smashers just can't sing real songs. The next one is Energy by Shroomed.
Oh wow, I didn't know he had one.
The top for a while, but I'm not done yet. If I play West Falls, y'all know how to bet. Keep my know me, cause you know I got heart. Trying to play more melee, cause this game is art.
Oh, he's really bad.
Okay, so again, the line is keep my blank on me because you know I got heart. The options for blank are keep my chains all on me, keep my keyblade on me, keep my jersey on me, and keep my locket on me. So A is chains all, B is keyblade, C is jersey, and D is locket. All right, I believe that's both guesses. Graham?
I made a hard read. Sorry, I made a hard read and said B.
I also said B.
It was B.
Yeah.
I couldn't really come up with much convincing.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one to try to beat out.
All right, so the score is now both of you are at 2 and I'm at 1.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna keep it up with raps. Next up is the M2K diss track.
Oh, by who?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Actually, I'm the half. Oh my god, a waffle. Your boy Chew Dad 2017 getting in, about to go in on that dude named Zimmerman. BGB. The team that I said reppin'. MTK not ready for the secret weapon. Jigglypuff, whip your peach, cause sucks. Damn, why the fuck my Jigs taking matches not the best of them? Back here is a good move, I don't need the rest of them.
Okay, I'm terrible at volume control also because that was really loud. I apologize.
It's fine, it's fine. It'll be okay.
So
man.
what sucks? Is it A, it sucks? Or sorry, I should give you the line first. The line is Jigglypuff whooped yo peach cause blank. Blank sucks. The options for what sucks are A, it sucks, B, you suck, C, peach sucks, or D, Mart sucks.
Say the full line one more time. Like what was right before it, if you have that there?
Yes, it's Jigglypuff whooped yo peach cause blank. So Jigglypuff whooped yo peach cause blank. And options are A, it sucks, B, you suck, C, peach sucks, and D, Mart sucks.
Wow.
You're hitting us with a pronoun mix-up here.
Yeah, this is the pronoun mix-up, if even applicable.
Alrighty, Graham, what'd you guess?
I said it sucks.
I also said it sucks.
It was it sucks.
Yeah. That was a tricky one.
I did realize in retrospect that one of my answers was you suck, but I did not actually cut out the sucks from the clip, so you were paying very close attention. You could have cut it down to 1 out of 3. But you both got it, so it didn't matter.
And real quick before we move on to the next one, so I talked earlier about how I saw Mike Hayes at the rap battle with Chillin' Dude at SmashCon, because Colin really wanted to see it, and that was one of the best moves we made the entire weekend last year, because that meant we got to see Chudak come in on some songs, and he was officially one of the funniest people I've ever seen get on stage in my entire life. The only thing he did was he laughed and raised his right arm back. Like, I wish you could see me doing it right now, but it's my arm just going up left, right, and that's all he did. And then he would come out and say one thing in the rap, and everyone would go nuts. And then he'd go back to waving his arm back and forth. It was one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And he was terrible at it. Oh, it's so funny.
It's kind of his gimmick, right? Is that he's so bad at rapping that
it's good
and endearing.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun.
All right, so we're tied at 3. The next one we're gonna get so this goes back to the start of the segment. We have Smash Bob with an H-Fox diss track.
Oh, I cannot believe this exists. Was this from Summit or something?
This was from his Summit campaign.
Oh Lord.
It's painful. Get ready.
Let me get something off my chest. You're not the best, so give it a rest. Juan Debit Edma, nobody wanna see ya. Watching your puff is worse than.
And it ends there.
Oh, I cannot believe that's the first time I've heard that. Oh my word.
Okay.
That's like, you know how you talk about Chudak being endearingly bad? Oh, that's so
so like
much.
just so bad it's bad.
It's so bad.
Okay, so
oh my word.
To repeat the line, Juan Debe Idma, which we should point out it's actually pronounced Juan Debe Edma. Juan Debe Idma, nobody wanna see ya. Watching your puff is worse than blank. Your options for blank are A, gonorrhea, B, hypothermia, C, chlamydia, and D, leukemia.
Okay.
Hitting us with the disease mix.
Well,
this
yeah,
time.
and also it's Smash Bob. You have to keep that in mind, right? So give me those choices again.
Sure. A is gonorrhea, B is hypothermia, C is chlamydia, and D is leukemia. This is good. You guys are taking a while. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna need those 4 choices again.
Okay, A, gonorrhea, B, hypothermia, C, chlamydia, and D, leukemia. Alrighty, Graham, what was your answer?
I said gonorrhea.
Okay, so I was gonna put that because I thought it was the funniest, but I felt like Smash Bob would do D, leukemia, just because that just sounds like something he'd say.
So it was gonorrhea.
Oh
Yes.
man.
The part of the clue in was that gonorrhea not only ends with ia, but also kind of rhymes with Juan and
Yeah.
nobody Juan with gone. So yeah,
I thought that sounded the
Graham-
best. I just didn't think he'd put that, you know? So I guess I got to give Smash Bob a little bit of credit for that. As like 0.01% or something.
Yeah, still
Awful.
keep playing.
That was
stay
terrible.
Stay playing Melee. Don't do distracts.
No.
Okay, next up is Bobby Big Balls
What?
with many sets. This one's actually not that bad. I kind of enjoyed this one, which
Okay.
means I have bad musical taste. But yeah, get ready. Also, if anyone has like children at home, this would be the time to turn off the
Oh,
podcast.
I ain't gonna spell it out for you peaches floating by the edge. You ain't never had the fast fall and shorten to the ledge. In the Bible it says, fuck Jigglypuff, I bet that Hungry Box and I won $50. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason.
Alrighty, so the line again was in the Bible. It says "fuck Jigglypuff." I bet that Hungry Box blank and won $50. So what did Bobby Big Balls bet on? Is it A, that Hungry Box was gay? B, Hungry Box has no soul? C, Hungry Box hates people? Or D, Hungry Box is a fuckboy? Again, A, Hungry Box was gay. B, Hungry Box has no soul. C, Hungry Box hates people. Or D, Hungry Box is a fuckboy?
Interesting.
This is really funny because if you watch commentary from NCSU Eclipse, we tell a really interesting story about Bobby Big Balls rapping in an Uber at Genesis.
Oh, I need to hear that. I'm not
with
gonna hear about this.
Osmix of all people.
What?
So go check that out. But
What set was that during?
one of his sets.
Was it me
So
versus him, you think? 'Cause
It
I
was
think-
either you or Tahim.
Okay.
Maybe
It might have
it was
been me
Smash
because I
Bob.
feel like I was there. I watched the Smash Bob set, so it might have been me. Either way.
Alright, Graham, your answer?
I said A.
And Tyler?
I put D. I was close to putting A, but A was the correct answer last time, so I was scared to put it again. The multiple choice mix up.
Maybe I should tell you this, but I actually just shuffled the answers for all of
Nice,
these, but it
yeah.
was A. It was Hungry Box.
No.
Ooh,
should go with my
classic
first
mistake,
ins.
Tyler.
I
Of course,
know.
Arun is gonna randomize the answers. It's Arun.
I should have thought about that too. That's my B. And I go with my gut from now on.
Alright,
That's
so it
pretty
is
good.
a 5-3 in Graham's favor.
Oh,
There
no.
are 3 left, so Tyler, if you want the win, you're gonna need to sweep this.
That's fine. I've reversed 3 out him before. I think I can do it again.
Sadly.
Oh, that's true. Ooh, ooh. This is very true. Graham does tend to crumble when he's 2 ahead. Okay, so we do have an actual song now. It is the Armada song by, I think it's spelled like Henryk, which I think is Enrique because it's a very European accent, but it might just be Henrique. But yeah, this is the Armada song.
What?
Left beat you and you cry. I cry too. Armada, you are beautiful. I love you. When you beat me at Evo, you argue with Mewtwo King, but he is not king. You are best bitch, and Fox, I wanna kiss your mustache.
Oh wait, who was singing that? Wait, who was singing this?
I think it's either Enrique or Henrique.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. I cannot
I'm
believe
pretty
again
sure
I've
it's
never
Henry
heard of this.
K.
Maybe. I prefer Enrique. I think it's funnier for the whole European motif. Anyway, so the line was, Armada, you are beautiful. I love you. When you beat PP at Evo, I blank. So what does he do when he beat PP at Evo? Is it A, celebrate, B, want to do you, C, masturbate, or D, want to kiss you?
Okay, give the line before again.
Leffen beat you and you cry, I cry too. Do you want the line after as well?
Yeah,
You argue with Mewtwo King, but he is not king. You are best Peach and Fox. I want to kiss your mustache.
Oh, no. What's the line? I'm sorry. That's beautiful, though. But what's the line before, like right beforehand? I'm sorry.
It is Armada, you are beautiful. I love you. When you beat PP at Evo, I blank. And again, options are A, celebrate, B, want to do you, C, masturbate, or D, want to kiss you.
This is called the Armada song.
Yeah, if you just look up Armada song Henry K on YouTube, you can find it.
Yeah, after this game show,
yeah, I gotta check that
I'll be
out.
bumping that.
Alrighty, let's get some answers.
I hate this. I feel like such an idiot putting some of these in. Oh man, what did you put? High five.
I said D.
I put C.
It was C.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
If
one.
you look up the unofficial music video, it shows PP vs Armada on Evo being hosted on Pornhub.
Wow.
So I just won game 3, and I'm feeling pretty confident about game 4 because again, I don't really have anything to lose right now. So we're going to game 4, I guess.
And I don't have a counter pick, so
Your counter pick is going to be you felt pretty good about Henry K, so you're going to go to a different Henry K, which is the H Fox song.
Oh my gosh.
I guess this is my counter pick then.
Also, just a heads up, I really enjoy the chorus for this one, so this clip's going to be rather long because I wanted to fit the chorus in. Or hello, bot.
Hungry box. You don't have to practice multi-shine. You want to be top 5, but you Hungry boy. You don't want to have to say goodbye. Hungry boy. In the future you win, dream hack and cry. 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 Win, dream hack and cry.
Okay.
It took
I'm
me
so
like
sorry for me.
it
The
took like
backing vocals though.
yeah, it took like 4 times for him for me to understand he was saying dream hack. I had no idea what he was saying he was winning until the end.
So, again, the line is Hungryvox, you don't have to practice multi-shine. You want to be top 5, but you blank. So the options are A, can't even win Genesis 5. B, don't want to sell your fingers to the night. C, need to beat young Link to reach that height. Or D, lose to Mango your whole life.
Wow, these are really good multiple choice options by you this time. I like this one. I'm gonna need the full thing one more time, if you don't mind.
Okay. As in, you want me to play the clip again, right?
No.
Okay, so Hungryvox, you don't have to practice multi-shine. You want to be top 5, but you blank. A is can't even win Genesis 5. B is don't want to sell your fingers to the night. C is need to beat young Link to reach that height. And D is lose to Mango your whole life.
Wow. These are I'm very impressed with this one here.
Yeah, Arun should get a point for this one.
I don't think I'm going to make the comeback even with this point.
It's a courtesy
Okay,
point.
I think I have both answers in. So, Graham?
It's a D.
So that means I lose because I also said D.
Well, you might tie, but it was not D.
Okay.
No.
It was actually don't want to sell your fingers to the night.
Wow.
See, I thought because in the actual song "Roxanne" by The Police, the line is something like that. But I was like, no, I think Arun just like looked at the lyrics.
Oh, is this
did
based
that.
off of Roxanne? I didn't even
It is based
realize
off of
it. I
Roxanne,
actually
yes.
not realized that at first. That's pretty funny.
I was one level too far ahead, or too far
Alrighty.
back.
So this is the last one. This is Tyler playing to tie. This is actually not by Smasher. This is a DK rap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No style. He has no grace.
Oh, yeah.
He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you.
Okay, the bot's struggling out there, but oh wow, Tyler. Okay, Graham. Tyler already sent me the answer, so you're gonna have to tell me which of these it is. And if you might as well just tell me here, because yeah. Is it A is far from an ace? B has a funny face? C is a big nutcase? Or D is always last place?
Has a funny face.
It has a funny face.
Ah,
Tyler almost got it right, but
I'm
that
surprised.
means-
I'm surprised the answer wasn't coconut gun.
That's a coconut gun. Did you know that one, or did you guess based off the answers?
No, I knew that one.
Okay.
I played a lot of DK64.
That's funny.
I just never make it to that part of the song.
No,
it's
no,
an objectively bad game, but it was fun.
So I know that because I have been on Reddit and more than once, meaning I have seen that rap on like threads like 7 times, like out of like 2, like going there like every 2 times. I swear it's in every thread ever. Never. Anyway, sorry. They freaking post on our Smash Bros all the time. It's so frustrating.
No, it's fine. It's maybe the original meme of the Smash community.
It is.
Anyway, that brings this game show to a conclusion. Graham edges it out 6-5. I had a measly 2 points, but I'll take it.
Let's go.
That was a great one. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. And I'm glad I got to hear Smash Bob rap.
Does Enrique have more videos, or
I
does he
think
just have
those are
two?
the only 2 I could find. If there were more, I would have played them because I love his songs. But
Yeah, he has some real talent.
you should definitely listen to the rest of both the Armada song and the H-Fox song. There's some real gold I just didn't include for the sake of time. But yeah, Graham is now up lifetime 2.5 to 0.5.
Oh man, I gotta catch up.
Don't worry,
here.
the next one will be about. I'll try to make the next one about Ice Climber trivia.
Thank you.
And
You
worth
had
2 points.
One for each climber.
But
Oh, I
yeah,
like
this has been another episode of 2 Floaties 1 Wobbler. As always, I'm Arun, aka Zent. You can find me on Twitter at GuruGanesh. I don't know why you'd follow me, but feel free.
Oh, because you have a great Twitter. Don't undersell yourself. Your Twitter's fantastic. You can find me at on streaming on Twitch most of our NC local tournaments in the area at twitch.tv/sharks_SSB. I got a new layout thanks to Joe, the man. So look forward to having a little bit better layout in the future here, like we had at Eclipse. You can also catch me on twitter.com/sharks_SSB. And if you want a PS4 friend or a Steam friend or a Switch friend, just ask me and I would love to add you. I'm trying to get like more real life friends as friends on this system, so hit me up on that.
And I am Graham, aka Hi-Fi. I don't have a Twitter, but I do have a blog, hi-fi-ssbm.wordpress.com, although I'm going to try to change the URL to something cooler like law.blog soon. And if there's anything you want me to write about, I'd be down. Really, my plan was just to write a blog post anytime I had something I wanted to write about, but that hasn't really happened lately, so if there's anything at all Melee related that you want to read me talk about for whatever reason, I would be happy to do it, so just let me know.
So if I want to listen to episodes of the show, where should I find them?
Well, we do have a SoundCloud where the episodes are posted first thing, so check it out there. I put the link. I don't have the link right in front of me, but you can find it whenever I post on the NC Melee Facebook page, as well as our YouTube. I haven't had the chance to work on getting on iTunes yet, but hopefully I can in the future. If there's a certain platform that you guys want it on, hit me up, let me know, and I'll see if I can work on that. Otherwise, it's not going to be like my #1 priority, but I'll see if I can get that done. If no one says anything, but if someone says something, I will make that a priority. Anyone have anything else to say before we end it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see y'all next podcast. Hopefully in 2 weeks if everything works out this time. That will be the pre-SmashCon podcast. So look forward to that. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.